Right, hello and welcome everybody. We are here today for the first Clash of Fates tournament, game one, with One Winged Angels on the blue team and Scottish Warriors on the purple team. Looking forward to this one today, and with me I have Immortal Connor. Say hello.
Hello, everybody.
And I'm Lithiana. As we come through, we've already got the Dr. Mundo and the Jax bands, so going fairly heavy on the top lane bands, wouldn't you say, Connor?
Yeah, it definitely seems like they're trying to get top lane kind of neutralised. Mundo, Jax, and Fiora all very strong in the current meta, so get rid of them as much as possible. Malzahar drawing a ban as well. I wouldn't say that's kind of the most player champion, but I do believe that Tulkas, who plays for Scottish Warriors, is a Malzahar main, so kind of targeted ban more than anything, but a Tam Kench ban also coming through, just to get rid of all the OP stuff, I suppose.
Yeah, with that percentage damage, he can certainly put out a lot of threat while being a very tanky man with that shield, giving him a second health bar to boot. So looking for that pick up with Elise, certainly pick comp and Shaco potentially going to be hovered over. That should be an interesting assassination sort of pick if that does end up getting locked in. But I'm liking this Elise, very strong in this early game, can then build her into tank. And Olaf's strong pickup. I know I played that yesterday and did quite well. He's a strong champ, and being able to just break through all of that CC with his ultimate can certainly charge the back line.
Yeah, definitely a good pick picking up the Olaf. Worth mentioning Shadow Cow, who I believe will be playing jungle for Scottish Warriors, is actually a Shaco main with a very impressive 200,000 points on champion mastery with Shaco. So I'm assuming it's Shadow that will be getting the Shaco, because if you've got a guy in your team that's played that many games on Shaco, it's kind of his biggest comfort pick, I would say. I have no idea who'll be playing the OWA, however, so it'll be interesting to see who actually picks up the top role, because it does seem that everybody in Scottish Warriors mainly plays AD carry. So it's a team of full AD carries, really. The only one who is guaranteed to play mid, I think, is Tulkas, who mains Malzahar, LeBlanc, and Victor. So everybody else seems to play AD carry.
All
It's
right, well, we've
interesting.
got that Caitlyn locked in there, so that nice staple picking up from range with that season 6. She got a lot of changes and is able to provide quite a lot of damage from range if she can get those little cupcakes down to snare people and also just caliber net backwards and also get that extended range auto attack. Syra, a bit of a flex pick, can either be played as support or mid lane. We'll see what that role will get put into as the fourth and fifth picks for One Winged Angels comes out.
Yeah, and already I'm liking the draft that One Line Dangers is putting together. I mean, you've got Elise, Gangplank, it looks like a Victor's been having right now, and as you said, Desire. So there's a lot of crowd control there. I mean, Elise and Zyra, if they stack their crowd control together, you've also got Gangplank, who can just drop an ult down on top of that. And if you're seeing here Azir, no, not Azir, sorry, Victor and Lucian both being hovered, and both of those would be great in a sort of pick CC comp as well, because just fire all that damage in top.
Yeah, not a lot of tanky stats coming out. That means Elise will probably have to go much more along those tankier lines, but they have so much zone control with the two ultimates from Zyra and the Gangplank as well, and just so much damage being able to come out from that victory if they can coalesce everyone together. Great AoE comp with that and a culling as well. They can certainly do damage on the run. LeBlanc, nice pickup, as you mentioned, with that Malzahar being banned out. That was a bit of a go-to pick for them. We will have that Shaco in the jungle, so to see if he can snowball any lanes, particularly that LeBlanc, if she can start one-shotting people when they do set up that siege comp, which they might have the affinity towards. We'll see if that goes through. And Olaf certainly will be able to get through all of this CC and potentially be able to charge down the back line, which ends up being most of their team.
Yeah, the interesting thing about this is I'm assuming that Elise is going to go the new jungle item for AP champions, and I think it's the Runic Echo. That Runic Echo is ridiculous at the moment. Basically, expect Elise to have around 500 movement speed as she runs about the map, destroying everything in her sight. It's terrifying at the moment. I was playing a game earlier today, and somebody decided it would be a great idea to pick Timo and get Runic Echo as jungle Timo and proceed to run about the map with over 500 movement speed, terrorizing every single lane. So it's a really strong AP item and does a lot of burst damage because it's kind of like a Luden's Echo. It's at budget so that junglers can pick it up, and
Yeah.
it does give some movement stats as well. So it's pretty ridiculous at the moment.
You say budget, but the cost of the items, what, 2,650? The
Is it?
combined cost, yeah, no, it's quite an investment. But obviously, you're buying all the parts individually and everything, and it has quite a nice, easy build progression as you go through. But yeah, a solid item. You get a solid amount of AP, and obviously that mana regen when you do proc that echo on the camps. You also get back 18% of your mana for that as well. So looking at this, we've got two kind of big sort of looking for pokes, looking for any picks with that death sentence from the Thresh, and with the LeBlanc distortion just going forward, trying to like blow up any target she can. And on the other side, the One Wing Angels also looking for that sort of single target CC and just trying to be able to blow them up if at all
Yeah,
possible. A little bit more zone control and a little bit more maybe kite ability. I think Shaco might have a little bit of problems, especially with the 75 gold pink trinkets. If you're setting up a sort of siege, you can then put those two on either side of your flanks and really protect that from any sort of like Shaco flank. And Shaco just can't run straight at you with all of this zone control that One Wing Angel is coming out for. So Scottish Warriors definitely going to have to have a lead and potentially press that with the Olaf to really get through all of the crowd control that will be put up.
yeah. I definitely think that if there was a 5-on-5 group situation, I definitely think the One Winged Angel have a better composition to deal with that. They've got a Shaco and a LeBlanc, both that can, go invisible for a short period of time. When LeBlanc's passive gets procced, she'll just go invisible for a short period of time. But because of all the AoE that they've got, you're not really going to escape even once that's procced. I mean, if Shaco tries to get away in the middle of a team fight, what have you, LeBlanc gets popped in the middle of a team fight. Usually you can run away, but with the amount of CC that comes out of Zyra, Victor, Gangplank, you're not running away from that.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just loading up into the game now. And yeah, it should be a really interesting matchup. I'm really interested to see how this Shaco and Elise will run, and who can make the most impact in the early game, especially when two of the top laners aren't very tanky as well in that long lane and that individual Persian, and a lot of gank potential in that. Obviously, you got the orange for the gangplank just to be able to get out of that CC if it does come down. But in the end of the day, it'll just be slows from the Olaf and the Shaco, and with that ignite, the Shaco is running potential chase down with that.
Yeah, just while we're in Champions Select, just to run through a few things that might be of note for this game, really. So I'm looking here at the statistics of both teams, kind of like gold per minute, things along those lines. And it seems Muzzwa has a 719 KDA on Caitlyn. I'm not sure how many games that's over, but also the average stats for her Caitlyn, or his Caitlyn, is 431 gold per minute, which is the highest out of anybody in both teams.
Admirable,
So
yeah.
that's pretty good going. The next closest is actually Azure Blaze with that Victor, gets 407 gold per minute and has a respectable KDA of 1266, I do believe it is. So I'm definitely looking at Muzzwa to be the main focal point of Scottish Warriors. But I'm really interested to see, because I do believe there's a higher skill cap involved with the champions that One Winged Angel are playing, and if they play everything correct, then there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to take control of this game. But as I said, there's a Shaco in this game who's got quite a lot of experience on the champion, so his responsibility to disrupt things as much as they can, really.
Oh, One Wing Angel looking for a bit of a 5-man invade here, as Scottish Warriors seem to be fanning out a little bit. Caitlyn might be walking into them, but places the ward, backs out nicely, knows that she doesn't have the numbers advantage, and will be fairly safe. Also has skilled that cupcake, they'll just walk around it, and another one goes down as well. Spotted out there for the gangplank, and just having a bit of a laugh on the map. One of that matchups with the Lucian and Caitlyn, if the Lucian can actually gap close the Caitlyn and stick to her, Lucian certainly will outwin that trade, but Caitlyn has that safety from range and potential peel from that Thresh. He should be able to stay alive in this lane and really farm quite fluently.
Yeah, and one thing I'm interested to see is because obviously in Season 6 there's been a bit of vision changes going on. You mainly rely on your trinkets now, green wards are no longer in the game, and vision is a very key thing. I like how there's a couple of red wards inside their own jungle, they can see if somebody tries to invade. Blue's maybe been a bit more adventurous, they've kind of got one there in the middle of the river which has just died, but you know, I'm interested to see how both teams play the vision game as it progresses.
Yeah, Shaco's starting solo on this red buff as well, so he'll have an interesting gank path potentially. Maybe look for that early level 2 gank on the gangplank.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see just what Shaco does, because obviously he's very experienced in the champions, and I think an Olaf gank would be pretty good, just because obviously Olaf can throw out the axe and then Shaco can come in and you've got quite a lot of control over the gangplank that way, because you're forcing him basically to level up his orange level 2 to deal with that. So interesting mind games, and going for a little counter jungling it seems here from Shaco as well.
Yeah, under a ward though, so he will have been spotted. It is pinged out, at least on the other side of the map though, but Victor already closing down and Gangplank looking to get involved here as well, so Shaco might be in a little bit of a trouble.
Yeah, LeBlanc hasn't even pinged to say that they're missing, so really something that should have been done. A little bit of sneaky Shaco play going on there.
Yeah, that Shaco certainly staying alive with the skin of his teeth. Deceive doing a lot of work there, just being able to hide in that bush and completely sidesteps all of that Victor damage as well. Nice hook down at the bottom, Death Sentence going in, ignites all round, and first blood and second blood will be picked up, trading that for supports.
Yeah, interestingly enough though, I think it was Lucian got the first blood, so he gets an extra 150 gold out of that, so that's a couple more health potions if he likes. Nice E forward. I myself main Lucian, so I always love watching people do really well on Lucian, and just that dash forward of the E combo, especially with, so I forget the name of the keystone, but when you trigger that for proc and Thunderlords, that's the correct term, does a lot of damage.
Degree, yeah.
And just interesting enough, up in this top lane, Gangplank is just having his way with Olaf right now. I've seen a couple of times, I've been watching this matchup kind of off camera. He just keeps on walking into the barrels, and it's really not a fun time for Olaf at all right now.
No, just dodged that from that distance, but does get flayed in. Will take a Piltover to the back, so 50% health down for him. He'll just be able to heal up with his health pot, which he had saved from that engagement. Caitlyn still has hers. You're right, Olaf does seem to be having a little bit of a difficulty in this top lane, having to just spam those undertows going through, but is running out of mana and losing this CS wall in the top.
Yeah, and interestingly, Gangplank still got over half his mana, so this barrage of barrels just isn't going to stop anytime soon. And it looks like Elise is posturing in mid lane, and I don't know if LeBlanc's going to be able to get away from this one. And she just does get away very easily.
Sure. Engagement in the top lane, bottom lane does force Thrash's flash as Shaco comes in, forces the flash out of Lucian as well. I think Shaco kind of had already burnt his gap close, so wasn't in too much trouble there, but just a safety flash. Elise also coming down as well. Lots of trading in this mid lane as Ignite does come down. This LeBlanc trying to trade very aggressively as she is picking up the farm, as Victor is struggling just to play safe in this lane, having to burn a lot of spells from that. He's going to back out and try and recoup his losses, coming back to lane with an extra Doran's Ring.
Yeah, and Gangplank's now just taking full control over top. You can see here he's actually pushed right up to the turret, and he's got his barrel set up, and he's just killing the minions, so there is not going to really be a bounce back on this wave. It's just going to continue to hit the turret, and there's nothing Olaf can really do to stop him at this point. Shaco is postured top, but I don't think anything's going to really be able to come from it. I think Gangplank's in a safe enough position.
I did actually get the he did get the barrel as he is hit the undertow. Shaco also there gets the slow, but he will also get undertowed, and they are running back. They are chasing him down. He's got into the safety of the tower, and they will not chase any further.
Yeah, a nice little bit of BM coming out from Gangplank there. It does have 31 CS at the moment to Olaf's 15. Olaf just refillable health potion, a ruby crystal, some pink ward and a Doran shield, and Gangplank just goes back and gets a sheen, so that's going to be a lot of damage coming through on the Gangplank.
Yeah, barrel does land up top. Gangplank is certainly putting it to him. He's also picked up that Sheen, so heavy damage on that front as chains will land in the middle, just shackling up this Victor. He is having a little bit of issues in this lane as his health bar. He's already gone back to lane. LeBlanc is just sitting in there just with the Dorian's Ring doing so much damage already and accruing a 15 CS lead. So sort of making up for this, Olaf, who's really struggling to find his feet in this top lane as he's already down to about a third health.
Yeah, and some nice trading going on in the bottom lane still. Erikai's about level in CS. Interesting to note that Caitlyn maybe picked up an extra biscuit, whereas, well, no, sorry, didn't spend the gold on an extra ward, whereas Lucian has decided to invest in that pink ward just because of obviously Shaco. But yeah, it's just a little thing that might play in. It's an extra health pot for Caitlyn, and now sort of fighting in the top lane again.
Yeah, he should make it out of that as he'll get to the safety of his tower, but he's pushed the wave and so he can get zoned off as a death sentence does land, but Lucian already trading heavily back onto this Caitlyn. Caitlyn's just going to have to retreat. As I said in this matchup, like if Caitlyn does get gap closed on by the Lucian, you really do need to 90 caliber net, land that slow and just gap close, land that extra headshot proc on the Lucian and just trade back aggressively if you can, because Lucian is taking full control of this lane. When they push up, they can then place fairly aggressive pink ward and potentially hold it, as they seem to be really winning this bot lane. It's only the mid lane going well for Scottish Warriors as LeBlanc goes for another trade.
Yeah, and they're just pushing in the bottom lane right now. He might actually get the kill on Fresh, does force the heal, and Gangplank's ult comes down very nicely, but they've pushed him right off that turret. I don't see them being able to, do much to really stop them. Elise has also just went for her first back, and it almost has that runic echoes now, and it seems LeBlanc's posturing to come bottom now, just because of how pushed up these guys are, but I don't know what LeBlanc can do in the situation, because Fresh is quite low, and Caitlyn's quite far back.
Yeah, they've already completely walked off the objective there, so a bit of a wasted roam, but nice just to have that pressure in the lane, because it seems like they really did need it at that point. Victor getting a bit of respite in this mid, he'll just be able to push out the wave, means that LeBlanc will lose a little bit of CS. She's trying to get a pick onto the Victor, but going to miss almost a full wave of CS for that roam to the bottom. So nice little bit of safety for the Victor in that situation. More damage down to the stresses. He's really struggling to find his feet, and even if he does get the hook and the death sentence, I think the combined damage of the Zyra and the Lucian will be more than the Caitlyn can put out. So potentially he does want to actually take that death sentence, and he's just trying to peel back and make sure this Caitlyn is nice and safe in this lane. She's farming fairly well, as you said, 65, 73. Lucian putting on a good show at the moment, only 9 minutes in.
Yeah, now we can see Shaco just saying hi to mid lane again. At the moment, Lucian's sitting on 1,200 gold. Victor's sitting on around 1,000 gold in comparison to LeBlanc sitting on 700. Caitlyn on 1,000. Another fight goes down.
Massive play here, going in. So much burst damage from this Elise, and Zyra's just cleaning it up with the ultimate, just making sure that that Strangle Thorns will do a lot of work. They'll pressure down this tower now and completely make Caitlyn give up all of that CS, which is just getting killed to the tower. They'll just push that out, and starting to have a bit of a commanding lead into this game as they're 1,500 gold up at this moment. Blue's been pinged out as that's now spawned for its second time.
Yeah, and Victor's now got his upgraded first Hex core, so that'll be a bit more AP, a bit more mana. And I don't know what it is upgraded. I'll just double check which one he upgraded for himself. I believe he has upgraded his. Right? Yeah, I believe it has upgraded the death ray. So a bit more of a wave clear coming out from now. It should make his laning phase easier. LeBlanc has managed to get ahead of him, but now he's got that death ray upgrade, it should be a lot easier times for Victor.
Bit of a dodge death sentence, but distort forward from LeBlanc, and Elise will just make it out safely there. Just trying to get control over this dragon pit area and that river. Really need to see some control from this bot lane, see if they can actually wrestle this back under contention. Just looking back over to this top lane again, you're just seeing the CS completely grow for this Gangplank, as Olaf's only down to 43.
Yeah, Gangplank is really just bossing Olaf around. It's kind of what happens because of Gangplank's Q. It's just some ranged harass. Obviously, Olaf does have his Q as well, but you can dodge Olaf's Q, you can't really dodge Gangplank's. One thing I do want to point out, just while nothing seems to be going on apart from Lucian dodging every skill shot under the sun, is the blue side have actually managed to push wards into the red jungle, whereas you've not seen Scottish Warriors manage to get any sort of warding in the opponent's side.
Descendants does land. Thresh decides to go in on it. Lots of burst damage on the Zyra as the exhaust goes out, but Caitlyn's already disengaged and no damage follow-up.
Yeah, and that's a pretty big, summoner spell to have down exhaust when it wasn't a guaranteed kill, and that's a nice bow.
Oh, double gank here as Elise is going onto the LeBlanc as a counter gank is coming out, and no one will fall, but so much damage on this Elise means that she's going to have difficulty holding this lane as Victor's also low. Potentially LeBlanc can get out pick on the Victor, but Gangplank just kind of shakes that off, and Shaco really not having a great early game here as he's unable to find picks for his team.
Yeah, and down in the bot lane, a nice little hook came out from Thresh there, and he pulled himself towards it, flayed. Zyra did ult, but yeah, it was definitely advantage Caitlyn there because Caitlyn did get the kill, and there it was Thresh that got the kill on Zyra, so not kind of balancing it out in terms of one AD carry got the kill, but the other AD carry didn't. But there was an assist there, I do think, so some gold does go across.
Oh yeah, definitely, and blue buff just getting transferred over. LeBlanc did manage to force the flash out of Elise as she was trying to take the raids there, and just going to back in front of the Victor. A little bit of BM now, so Deathray will just stop the back, and so she's just going to have to lose another wave of minions, and potentially Victor getting control of this lane now after that fairly successful gank of Elise, just taking down the health bar of the LeBlanc and really pushing into this tower, trying to get a bit more CS, and leaves the Shaco exposed in the lane so people can play a little bit more aggressively in the spot lane. Caitlyn's coming back to lane, has picked up those Berserker's Greaves and that pickaxe.
Yeah, I'm always interested when an AD carry decides to pick up the Berserker's Greaves before finishing their first major item. Usually I tend to leave the boot upgrade until I've got 2 major items completed at least. But if she's decided that she needs the attack speed to help with the waves, etc., then that's her choice. Personally, I would have liked to have seen her, kind of save that a bit and finish that first item, because Lucian's already completed his Essence Weaver. He's still just got basic boots, but the damage output is a lot higher on Lucian's side right now as a result.
Yeah, Gangplank having so much control has already made 250 gold off his parlay ability alone. So really accelerating this lead over the Olaf. He's just able to control the barrels. The Olaf is actually able to kill a few barrels, but so much control from this Gangplank at the moment. Dodging out of another undertow. Oh. As 90 caliber let does slow and the flay does come out. Will the Death Sentence land? It will. And the ultimate from Caitlyn, the Stranglethorn's coming out. Thresh having to dodge out, puts the box down. Will Zyra get the kill? No, she won't. Return kill for the Caitlyn though, as she's looking for that double. Can she get it? Yes, she will. A gank top as well as Olaf looks for the play. Nice lantern out there as well. And Victor actually finishes LeBlanc, so damage all the way across the map as every lane fought at the same time.
Yeah, wet noodle fights going all over the place there. I mean, I think what happened was Lucian just didn't expect Thresh to be in that bush. I kind of just disrespected the fact that Thresh could have been there, and obviously went aggressive in the Caitlyn. You should never relentless pursuit forward as Lucian unless you know for a fact that Thresh hook is down, because that's your opportunity to strike. You always want to wait for that hook to be down before you do anything aggressive, because then they can't really deal with your aggression. But what happened was he used it to go aggressive. Thresh telegraphed it, came out of the bush, and it was at that point Lucian realised he'd made a grave mistake, and it was all said and done by that point. Zyra did try and pick it back up, but it was a nice little ring around the roses, and Caitlyn eventually just destroyed her, and Caitlyn is now sitting with 4 kills and Shaco's sitting on 1, so definitely some damage dealers picking up kills in LeBlanc.
Oh wow, she just dealt 90% of damage to the Lucian. Ignite ticking as well, might actually drop the kill. Shaco also taking a whole bunch of damage from the Zyra in return. Deathray won't quite find its mark, but they are trying to fight over this Dragon Pit at the moment in control of this bottom area. Olaf having to back, he has teleport, maybe they'll look to make a big play. But they don't seem to.
No, it just seems like everybody's posturing for vision at the moment.
One Wing Angel certainly looking to play aggressive. They're in the river, they're trying to make plays. GP from that back of the Olaf is going to take down this top tower and really accelerate this gold lead. He's already got the Triforce in play and only pieces of Black Cleaver for Olaf.
Yeah, and even though Lucian is ahead of Caitlyn in CS, the actual fact that Caitlyn has all those kills has kind of balanced things out. They are both sitting roughly around the same amount of gold in total. It's around 5,500, and Caitlyn does have some more gold in her inventory than Lucian at the moment. Interestingly enough, Elise is sitting on 1,300 gold before going back, which is currently the highest in the game, and Gangplank's just continuing to, use that parley to its full effect and is completely destroying Olaf. I mean, the gold difference alone in top lane is 1,600 gold at this point. It's getting a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, Frost Queen's already finished for the Zyra. She's put out the walls as they're looking to potentially contest with this blue buff. Shaco's already on it. LeBlanc's there, and it will get Death Raid out. I didn't actually see who got it. LeBlanc got it.
LeBlanc's got it, yeah. That's a very nice use of Victor W there.
Massive Stranglethorns coming out as Caitlyn is managed to secure the 5th kill of the game for her. LeBlanc having to run very, very quickly away. Shaco's coming in for the Victor. Victor's trying to run back into his team as he will. It was just the clone and they'll disengage from the fight. 1 kill over to Caitlyn. There's so much burst damage. Everyone's building damage. No one's building tank in this game. There is just such explosive team fights that it all happens so quickly. One Winged Angels managed to recoup their losses and pushing out the mid tower as well.
Yeah, and I just want to point out again, in that bush, that Victor W was really well placed, but it was the reaction from the Scottish Warriors that was even better. I mean, the way that Victor placed that there was he placed it in such a way that it was basically covering the lane. So therefore, if you wanted to try and engage on him, that you had to walk through the W and you would get stunned, and the only other way is to go all the way around or very stupidly flash over if you wanted to do any sort of engage on them. But the instant reaction, they just dropped the Gangplank ult on top of them and said, okay, you do that, we've got ways to walk around it.
With the TP burnt for GP in that engagement, it has freed up Olaf to take the top tier tower, and One Winged Angels able to secure their first dragon of the game. Death Sentence does land, but it just eats an orange and Gangplank will walk away scot-free. How do you feel that the Shaco is doing in this game? He does have 1 kill, he hasn't died yet, but do you feel that he's making the impact like he should?
Well, Shaco's a very early game jungler, and he's sitting in the moment in 63 farm, so he's kind of seeming to farm more than he has affected any sort of lanes. I mean, as the game goes on, he's going to fall off. He does have Blue Smite. I would have liked to have seen him take Red Smite actually, just because in the moment Red Smite's just really powerful. It's 20% increased damage and 20% damage reduction, so you can just walk up to somebody and almost one-shot them as Shaco if you pick the right target. For example, if you go on Zyra, smite her, do all your damage, she's not going to be doing much about
LeBlanc
it.
distorting forward, but that will be a culling out of the Lucian, just putting her away. She's already down to a 3rd health. And not a wise trade for the LeBlanc, because she was the one who distorted forward, putting a lot of pressure on the middle map here as they're trying to take down this tier 2 tower.
Yeah, so one final point about Shaco is everything he seems to be doing seems to be reactionary rather than making any sort of attempts to make a play himself. Everything he's been doing so far is basically just countering what the opponents are doing to him. I'd like to point out at the moment Div has actually been really good at landing those hooks, even sometimes if they might not have wanted to have landed them. He's done really well at managing to find the right hooks, and it has contributed in Caitlyn's snowballing ahead.
Cocoon does force the Ragnarok out of Olaf as he was about to 3v1 under a tower, but LeBlanc takes another unwide trade and does cause the clone to come out there. She is struggling in this game to try and find the picks and really delete people.
Yeah, at the moment, this is not Scottish Warriors jungle anymore. They don't have a jungle anymore.
Another Cocoon lands and big Stranglethorns out, but so much damage. Gangplank is going to pick up a kill as Elise is having to run away. Caitlyn gets a nice crit on Elise on the back way, and they will disengage the fight, but another tower down. But trading supports that as well.
Yeah, and it's also interesting, Thresh has got a talisman. Usually you would see people going Relic Shield and getting facing the mountain, etc. for a little more shield stats, but he's gone for the talisman, so it seems like he wants to do is get everybody out of the fight or get everybody right into the fight. There's no middle ground with that.
Yeah. Well, he's not a tank, he's got 150 extra HP from that Sightstone. He's gone for the Moby Boots, so that's not defensive. He hasn't got any MR or armor from that as well, and Talisman does mean that he's all about that sort of like sustained base regen, health regen, and cooldown reduction, and as you said, sort of AoE speed up. Kind of nice, but also very risky. It means that you can't play that brazen, and if you do take a death sentence, it could be your own death.
Yeah, and it's now Shaco's up to 2 kills now. He's got his warrior enchantment. He's got boots of swiftness, so he's just storming around the map, making any sort of impact that he can. The vision war is still ongoing, but there is a lot more red wards in that map than there is blue.
Yeah, aggressive, relentless pursuit there forward, but he can't land any more skill shots onto the opposing team. Zyra just doing a little bit of poke there onto the Thresh. You just saw that he just really isn't tanky. He took a 3rd damage already, just having to sustain up slowly with his Talisman regen.
Yeah, in comparison, when you look at sort of how Zyra's built, she's got a Frost Queen, she's got a Sightstone, she's got... Whoa, that was a lot of damage.
Wow, LeBlanc just absolutely blows up the Lucian as he tries to escape around it. Shaco's also in the fight with his clone. Let's see what happens. Shaco now also coming in, but will just get zoned out from this Victor damage.
Yeah, as I said at the start of the game, you've picked Shaco, and they've got things like Victor that when you kind of go invisible, they've got the perfect way to deal with it. And Gangplank's now TPing bottom.
Looking for a play, trying to get around this Caitlyn. This Caitlyn's already low. Can any skill shot land? Gets a slow from the Ghost, and Death Ray will not find its mark. It will mean that they'll be able to push in and take this bottom tier 2 tower.
Yeah, this is the last inner turret that they've got to take before they're on to Nexus turrets. And LeBlanc almost taken out Elise, but they've still got Zyra.
Zyra does actually not get hit by the box. Stranglecords will come out as exhaust happens. They will trade kills, and LeBlanc will go down.
LeBlanc's health bar just seemed to go from 100 to 0 real quick there.
Nice little protection there from the GP. He'll just be able to heal up, and he will just absolutely pick off the Thresh with a barrel there. Lovely play from the Gangplank, just controlling these barrels quite nicely.
Yeah, that was a case of, don't worry guys, I've got this. Oh wait, there's a barrel there. Oh, bye guys, I'm back at the fountain now. I mean, that's just insane how much damage. I don't know exactly how much damage he's doing with us. I think it's around 800 at the moment, but that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, he is close to his IE as well. Really doing a solid job on this. Or maybe he's going to actually look for the Essence Reader. I think he's got the components for that, yes.
Yeah, he does have the Caulfields. I think he would be looking to build an Essence Reaver just based off the Caulfields, but he might throw us for a loop, and oh, there goes Elise.
LeBlanc making little nice picks around, as you said. She can do a lot of damage, but she can also take a lot of damage. Certainly trying to like wrestle her team into a favourable matchup and just trying to make these picks. Both of these teams are heavy picks, as Zyra managing to do a 50% trade for free onto LeBlanc. Zyra doing a nice amount of damage, and Gangplank finds another target of the Thresh. He just caught in a little bit of no man land, probably just trying to ward out, but as you said previously, the jungle just isn't theirs anymore. As a nice slow barrel there will come onto the Gangplank.
That was just a case of Thresh came back from the fountain, thought, okay, Gangplank, you're not going to do that to me again. Walked into the same jungle, Gangplank still bottom of the map, and just destroys him again in the space of 2 seconds. Get out of here, why are you even in this jungle? You're not welcome here.
Gangplank's now all alone though. Will they realise it? Will they even attempt to go forward into him? He's just going to walk away. They'll regroup, probably a lot of gold in hand.
It's just a
Gangplank
case of...
certainly does, he's got 2.7k.
Yeah, Scottish Warriors just kind of need to regroup, I think, and just think they're like 9k gold down now. They need to really think about how they're going to pull themselves back into this game, because at the moment they're being dominated in terms of vision. They're just being out-rotated, and that's a nice look
death
actually.
sentence lands on. Thresh will follow it up, but that will be his demise. And also, the Olaf does have to flash out as Ignite does burn him down through his Ragnarok. Chains will land onto the Gangplank as he's looking to trade back on the LeBlanc. He will distort around and also pick up the kill with Caitlyn's assist.
Yeah, it's the Scottish Warriors are getting some nice picks off there, but just the absolute destruction from Victor, it's getting at a point where he's getting quite scary now. I mean, I think he's sitting on 274 AP and he's just doing a ton of damage.
Yeah, at this point, if Shaco does go forward and actually tries to go melee into these guys, I'm pretty sure he's going to follow the same way as Thresh and just get absolutely blown up. He's now picked up this Warden's Mail, but like at this point he just needs HP. You know, there's so much magic damage on the team with this Elise, with this Zyra as well, that he just can't take the heat at the moment. And he took that death sentence, set up a trade and a kill and everything, but just got absolutely murdered and took Olaf down with him as well.
Yeah,
and the Baron here as well.
They're on the Baron. I don't see, if they do want to take it, I don't see how Scottish Warriors can stop them. LeBlanc might go for a cheeky steal, but one thing I think Thresh should be going for at the moment is perhaps a Locket of the Eye on Solari. I think that's something a support should always have, and a TP into the Baron pit gets cancelled, so that's a wasted TP now as well from Olaf.
A wise cancel as well, as the Baron was already down, potentially just showing their hand there a little bit too soon. Oh, LeBlanc does go into a trade on Gangplank, does get ignited, but no kill traded.
Yeah, and Victor's now up to his perfect hex core, so that actually gives him 140 AP. I think that item is the most base AP out of any item in the game. The only item that would give you more AP is Rabdon's Death Cap. Yep. I am absolutely awful at remembering names of things, but yeah.
Shaco we actually have a disconnect. They can pause the game if they so choose. I hope that they know that. Maybe they don't know that. This is a custom game.
I think they're just kind of. I think they're just kind of like, we've got this, guys. We don't need Gangplank anymore. You can go home now.
It is 12-11, so Scottish Warriors have made quite a few picks throughout the game, as Gangplank will just reconnect in with us, so he'll be back out onto the Rift any second, looking to push in with this newly collected Baron buff.
Yeah, the only problem as well, they have got 11 kills. There's a massive gold discrepancy, and it's basically just due to CS and towers, really. The first damage limitation Scottish Warriors need to really do is find a way to start getting some of those outer towers down, because that's some easy gold on the map. Those towers aren't that hard to take down at this point in the game, but everything that they're doing is just reactionary at the moment. They're forced back into their base, they're being starved for gold. I mean, Gangplank's up to 259 CS, Olaf's at 141.
Oh, forward relentless pursuit onto that, and a flash will come out from the Victor, and Deathray will pick up the kill on Thresh. He just really isn't tanky at this moment in the game. Also, although the Ravenous Hydra is picked up for the Shaco, he is struggling as they'll just push down the map as quickly as possible, looking to come in for 5 players in the bottom for One Winged Angel as they're looking to contest this inhibitor tower. Shaco taking so much damage and will get blown up by the Q. Massive Stranglethorns coming out, forces so many flashes, and they will just get picked up from this massive torrent that One Winged Angels is pushing out. They can almost go for the win, as only 2 members are up. Thresh will be new spawning.
Yeah, they definitely used that Baron to its full potential. They're nice block in the ult there from Gangplank as well. Lucian just doing some massive damage.
Thresh going in for a massive threat. Ragnarok's already blown up, but Olaf's just nowhere in the fight. He does one under so and instantly has to back out. Caitlyn just hasn't got the damage. We'll try and go for this Gangplank, but nice orange drunk from him, and Elise will just try and push Caitlyn all the way back to the base. They will regroup, they're going to back, and they will come back and try and push out another lane as the middle tower is down to about a quarter health.
Yeah, at the moment I think that's pretty much donezo. I would say it was really nice play to get into the base of the Baron. They used it to its fullest potential, I'd say. That was a last ditch panic engage, I think, from Scottish Warriors, just to like, if we can't get this engage, it's done, but we'll give it a bash and see what we can do. Yeah, it's good to see that everybody has managed to upgrade their trinkets the way they should. Quite a lot of people still forget about the whole upgrade your trinkets to blue or red, and Zara sweeping out, etc., just denying all that vision. They could go for top turret here and just, you know,
trying to burst down the Zara, and she will get picked up from the Shaco burst as well. So Ravenous Hydra doing a little bit of damage. Teleport for the Gangplank as well as Thresh is in a little bit of difficulty. He gets support from the Olaf. Oh my god, GB goes absolutely massive trying to get the double kill, but Olaf will secure that as well as Flash slightly aggressively, but GB just did so much damage in that trade, and I'm sure the Thresh didn't see that coming.
No, Gangplank is an utter monster. I mean, 6 kills, 3 deaths, 2 assists, just on the verge of 300 CS now. he's absolutely ridiculous, and you can see a one-line danger just playing it a bit safe, get the dragon. That's their third one now, so they believe that'll give them some extra movement speed. They're just basically, they know it's done at this point, they're just being really careful as to not give anything back at all that could let the Scottish Warriors back into this game.
Yeah, looking over at the kills on Scottish Warriors, they have certainly picked on this Thresh a lot in this game. It does mean that the gold attributed towards them means that if he can trade kills, certainly worth it for the threat at this point, so he can just throw his body full-heartedly into these death sentences. I'm sure he doesn't mind. Probably a little bit salty from this game as well, but Caitlyn having a nice scoreline, unkilled at the moment, and 6-0-2. Oh, LeBlanc gets cocooned up and will get absolutely smashed as Elise goes forward. Culling comes through as well from the Lucian. They're looking to contest this inner inhib as they're looking to push in this top tower as well with the OLAP.
Yeah, Shaco having to clone away there. He'll be okay for a second, but I think he will fall eventually. Being zoned off by Victor there, and goodbye. I mean, what I'd like to point out is, even though your carry may not have...
Another great cocoon lands.
Wow. While your carry may not have the most kills on this Lucian, the pressure that he's managed to put out on the champion has been exemplary. I mean, while you might not get all the kills, he's helped push down a lot of turrets, and it's just basically been a real thorn in Caitlyn's side. Despite the fact Caitlyn has 6 kills, in terms of overall pressure, I'd say that the Lucian had a lot more map effectiveness, and the GGs are coming out at this point, and yeah, that's game.
Yeah, looking to take it there. The Nexus will fall. Well done, One Winged Angels, for their win over Scottish Warriors.
Well, that was certainly an interesting game. Some people went man mode, some people made exceedingly flashy plays, but I think both teams can be happy with what they tried in that game. Blue definitely had an interesting composition, and Gangplank's itemization at the end of the game was 5 Tears of the Goddess, so need to see any more than that, really.
Well played all around. Thanks very much for watching. If you were going to give a man of the match, who would you award that to, Connor?
I'd say I'd have to give it to Victor. Azure Blaze just had control over mid lane. There was times when LeBlanc was dominating early game, but Victor kind of showed up in the team fights, and as the game went on, he survived the laning phase, 0 deaths in the game, so managed to make his way through, got over that period of LeBlanc pushing him around, and at the end of the game coming away with 230 CS, more than LeBlanc, had more impact in the game overall than LeBlanc, so I'd give it to Azure.
Sure, yeah, Victor played very well, and as you said, sort of weathered the storm of that early pressure that the LeBlanc base damages early on in the game. Very susceptible to just lay prey to it and take a death. LeBlanc really trying to get her team back into the game, trying to make picks frantically around the map, and sometimes trading it for her own life as well. So thanks very much for watching, and thanks for joining Immortal Connor. Cheers, and thanks everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a great game.